Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. So, my name is Michelle, and I'm an intuitive astrologer. I combine my knowledge of astrology with my intuition, and this will be reflected in this video. So, today I will talk about the upcoming full moon in the sign of Sagittarius, which will happen at 20 degrees. But before I start with this full moon, the general description, and all the signs, I'm going to do a little story. If you're not interested in a personal story, you can just switch below at the timestamps and you go directly to the general description and all the signs. But today I kind of felt inspired to talk a bit more about my own story, my own maybe struggles, and also where I am today. So, because I have kind of been holding back a little bit, and I talked in a group of other people about, some people have a passion, but they lack a certain willpower to do something. And I kind of got to where I am now that up until this point, I've kind of been resisting, or part of me has been resisting to really share my skill set, to really be seen. I mean, I have moon in the 12th house, so I rather be invisible, even though maybe it doesn't seem that way in my videos. But, I'm sitting alone here, so that's much safer. And yeah, I've had a resistance on my whole spiritual journey of fully embodying my spirituality. So yeah, lately I've been on a journey where I'm fully going to embody it, live it, which I haven't always done because I have had an awakening, which was a really tremendous experience at the age of 25, which is quite young. I would say I was a very restless personality. So I really wanted to travel, explore. And this awakening was completely unexpected. It was on a retreat on my first meditation. No desire to have any type of outcome, let alone have any type of experience. But may it be that I completely opened up everything, had very divine experiences. And for a few years, that was really intense. Looking through dimensions, seeing things around people. And I was always very sensitive, right? I was born already with some senses open, but at 25, it was all senses open. And, instead of embracing it, I kind of fought it. At the beginning, I embraced it, but I didn't feel it was fully me. Like, I didn't feel the guru lifestyle was something that was really related to my personality. I felt really normal with a divine or with a touch of light, so to speak. But so I've been resisting it. I was like, I just want to be normal. I want to have a normal life. And I don't kind of want to embody this these gifts. I don't want them because I just want to have a normal job. I want to have everything normal. And I kind of closed myself. I tried to close myself by, you know, maybe going to parties, going out a lot. Not I did become vegetarian and I have been for many years. So the food department was good, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. And by doing that, I was kind of preventing myself from fully growing. It was like I didn't want to fully be seen. fully be accepting myself in a way. And I thought this was a good story to encourage you also to fully embrace yourself, especially now with Saturn in Aries. I'm feeling this energy already, and it's in a conjunction with the Neptune, right? And some of you have had readings with me and noticed that I read astrology chart, but I'm also channeling. So I'm just gonna say it, and I've been doing that in my videos as well. Um, yeah, so I've been on a journey of expanding my consciousness and helping others do the same. And I can imagine that, I mean, I don't look the part. That was always my thing. I don't look the part. I don't think this is something that I should be doing. But in the past few months, especially with the whole retreat center that didn't work out, I quit all my marketing jobs because I was so tired that I was only able to do astrology. And yeah, from now on, I'm going to fully embrace this path, or I have been fully embracing this path in the past few months, really integrating it in my routines more than before. I was always doing it, but there was a part of me not fully accepting it because of shame, because I was still working with companies in marketing and I was still like, they would look at my YouTube and think I'm kind of, who's this weird person? That's why probably I've been holding back of speaking light language or doing any type of showing more of that. So in the upcoming months, I'm planning to do more of that and embracing more of myself in a way. And I would like you to encourage doing the same, especially with this planetary alignment of Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries, right? And that spirituality is not something scary because there's so many pros and so many cons because there are so many people out there that represent the shadow aspect of it. And that makes people doubt that if there's really light, if you can really have an awakening and have these kind of experiences. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. And it's for everyone, just like me, a very normal person that I was just living a normal life. It's for everyone. And it's not about fame or making tons of money. And I feel like a lot of those people get the stage because they want the stage. And people have this need for other people to solve their problems completely. And that makes so that people surrender to someone controlling or even slightly narcissistic. Okay. And I kind of felt like I didn't want to represent any of those things. And in my sessions, I help people, but I give you tips on how to heal yourself, which is you needing to do the work. And I'm just guiding you, right? Everybody has something still to heal, to work on, right? Unless you're enlightened, which are very few people, okay? So people are spreading that word like you can awaken spiritually, which is something very different from being enlightened. So let that be very clear. There are different, like I'm awakened. Enlightened, that's something completely different. That's letting go of all earthly desires. And, you will know when that happens. But it's not as many people as people say there are. Um, it's also a pretty good sales pitch, which is why I've been holding back on maybe promoting more or telling more about myself. But you also have to represent for what you stand for. So I'm going to try to talk more truth speak a bit more from the heart, and maybe less holding back. And no fear of judgment, which was also part of it. And it's normal because you cannot resonate with everyone, right? So yeah, I think it's time everyone started to own their own gifts, their own talents, and not giving it in someone's hands, but reflecting information, like receiving information from other people, and then working on it on your own, right? Like eventually you have to do the work yourself. Yeah, that's why I created the coaching program. Okay. So I do the work with you, but you have to kind of feel what it is that needs to be changed. So, yeah, let that story inspire you to not be shamed by your gifts, to not be feeling small, feeling like you're not good enough maybe to have them. And not comparing yourself, just like in my case, that I didn't want to represent people with a big ego that are also on YouTube, and that I really want to represent my genuine self, because that's what I'm standing for, that's what I'm embodying, and that's what I think the world needs more: purity, love for nature and the animals. So I almost get emotional saying that because I have such love for animals and nature. I've spent most of the last year almost completely isolated with my partner in the nature. So we've recently been going out and meeting people, but we've met very few, which made us really focusing on ourselves and the journey. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. And I'm going to start with the upcoming full moon in the sign of Sagittarius. So let me get the chart up. So what can I say? This full moon is tough and positive at the same time. Okay. Jupiter moved in a sign of Cancer on the 10th of June, so just one day before, which is pretty amazing because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So it loves to be in this sign. And this is all about spending more time with family, finding your own family. So this is also about finding your friend group, right? That feels like family, finding the right people to surround yourself with. And on this full moon, it's in a conjunction with Mercury. So this is about maybe talking to your family, talking nurturing words. And this is a really a feminine leadership, nurturing energy. So even if you're a man, don't worry, you can still be very nurturing, right? And very caring. There's nothing wrong with that. So this energy is really bringing in nice flows. And talking about the flow, it's more about going with the flow, right? Because we're talking about a water energy. At the same time, we are in Gemini season. And this full moon is in Sagittarius. So these two signs are about communication, sharing knowledge, sharing experiences. This is about doing research. And Gemini has a different way of sharing knowledge than Sagittarius. Like Sagittarius shares knowledge by experiences. I'm going to do it myself and I'm going to share with the world what I know through my own experience. And Gemini is like, you know what? I'm going to gather all this information from different books. I'm going to gather all this information from people. So I'm going to socialize and I'm going to make my own conclusion by gathering all the information. So if we have a full moon here, it's an optimistic full moon. I want to explore. I want to understand. I want to get maybe even an answer, and I will get an answer somehow. And the thing is that we have this very contradictory energy because Mercury is in a square with Saturn and Neptune. Because if you watch my introduction, we have Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries. And this conjunction is really helping you to, first of all, grow spiritually. This is a very spiritual placement where you can start embracing your true self, your true identity, and you're being challenged to do so. Okay. Um, but yeah, Mercury is in a square here. So it's like, should I say it or shouldn't I say it? But then Mercury is also in a sextile with Venus in Taurus. And Venus is in its own house in Taurus. So we have these planets like Venus and Jupiter being in very nice signs. But then we have all these squares. We have Mars in Leo, and Mars is doing pretty well in Leo, right? It's enthusiastic, it wants to share self-expression, it wants to share part of themselves. And it's in a square with Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus in Taurus is shaky. It's shaking the ground literally through earthquakes, which could be happening in June. I don't like to do this kind of predictions, but yeah, there could be even volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, or earthquakes. Like literally, the ground is being shaken. Like Mars is energy, it's action, it's moving forward, it's very masculine energies. So when it's used the right way, you're going to be persevering, you're going to move forward, you're going to take action on something that you really want. That's the highest way to go. But it can also create anger, sudden anger, outbursts. Okay. So in the world, there could be sudden outbursts. The earth can have sudden outbursts. Okay. Um, true shaky grounds. So you can see that on a global level, but you can also see that on a personal level. So wherever in your life you feel you're a bit shaky, you know, because sometimes we think if we suppress and hold back and not show all of ourselves completely, maybe it will go away. Maybe that thing never happened. Hmm. But it's still there in your body, and your body recognizes it. And when we look at Jupiter in Cancer, this is memory. Water is memory. But what can you do? These memories you can turn into wisdom. Jupiter, Mercury, talk about it. Okay. And it's good to talk about things. It's good to make vulnerability normal. And there are a lot of struggles doing so sometimes, right? Because it's hard to show your true self and not be accepted. Ooh. That's kind of difficult. So people struggle really showing their true selves. And then we have Venus in Taurus, squaring Pluto, retrograde in Aquarius. And this placement is triggering things in love, in money, but also in self-love, because the deepest issue with Venus square Pluto is that maybe there's a part of you that is not fully loved, not fully embraced. And, you know, we all have them. Even though you're feeling really well, there's maybe still a part of you that you're like, yeah, maybe I don't want to share that part. Or maybe that I don't want to look into that. But sometimes looking in the uncomfortable is really helping you to transform and to become the best version of yourself, right? And with the Venus square Pluto, it's like I'm either going to go in my Pluto and I'm going to control the outcome. Yes, I'm going to control this relationship. I'm going to control the outcome. I'm going to control my money. I'm going to look at, or I'm going to go to these really powerful figures. And I know that I need to give up part of myself to earn money. So I'm going to work in a place where part of myself I have to give up. And people have the same in relationships. And I have this placement in my natal chart. So I know about this placement where you feel like you have to surrender or give up something of your heart in order to have what you want. And there needs to be a midway. Embrace your inner power and also still love yourself enough to not give up completely or trying to control the narrative. So anything in your life now in love where you feel like you have to control the narrative, and that's why it's very often presented like, or it presents like third party situations. It's giving you the truth of a situation, and then it's like, especially with the scandal that has been going around. I think it's Aubrey Marcus and his two ladies. This is very Venus square Pluto because it's shocking people. Is it a power dynamic? Do any of the ladies had to give up their heart? And there's this massive discussion going on. Like, what is spirituality? And is this good? Is this supposed to be on the journey? And it's shocking. And they have to go within and look at themselves if this is really what their heart desires. So there couldn't be a better example for Venus square Pluto than this. And complicated dynamics that are really triggering you to be truthful to yourself. Are you trying to hold a relationship that maybe you feel like you have to please, otherwise the person is gonna leave you? And we kind of all been there, but it's not good for your soul. And being alone is not that scary, because if you can be alone, you're not attached to anything. And this is great because then you love yourself so much that I came at the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to be alone. I'm going to age and I'm going to be with my cat because I'd rather be with someone that fully accepts me than constantly trying to adjust myself and please myself. I have a history of people pleasing. Not anymore. I know people trying to email me to get stuff for free, but my boundaries are not that bad anymore. So um I do stuff for free on YouTube, and I give free giveaways as well on reading. Um so this dynamic will come up, okay? Watch out for money scams, too good to be true situations, and don't talk to yourself that you have to give a part of your soul, your heart, to have money or to have a relationship because it looks good on the outside. you know because a relationship should be nurturing for the soul. Anyways, then we have which I'm going to go next. Jupiter square Saturn and Jupiter square Neptune. So here we have the planet of expansion and luck, and it's kind of being restricted by Saturn. So here's the test. How much do you want what you want? How dedicated are you? Are you going to be really dedicated, or are you going to let it go because it doesn't come right away, what you want? Because sometimes patience is being tested. Like you want something and it's not fully showing itself to you, but sometimes it's also a lesson of endurance, of persistence. This is what Saturn is telling you. So even though it doesn't show you what you want right away, and Cancer could be expanding a family, this could be some kind of leadership, whatever it is that you want, if it doesn't show itself right away, doesn't mean it will never show. We also have the North Node in Pisces squaring this full moon. Okay. So here we have a situation like, what is this full moon needing you to experience, to read about, to learn, to study in order to go to the North Node? Maybe there's still something, the finishing touch that's going to make you an expert in the field, or the finishing touch needed before the next step. So here you're going to be triggered. This full moon is going to trigger and create a better version of yourself. Okay. Because people always want to hear good stuff. Like, but actually, the worst things that happen to you bring the best things sometimes. Because sometimes you have to leave something behind in order to start something anew that is better for you. So you have to trust that. I'm gonna look at, I think that's where I leave my introduction. Let's move to all the signs. So let's start with Aries. So all my lovely sun, moon, and rising Aries. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius at 20 degrees in your ninth house. And it's opposing the sun in Gemini. And here we have a very curious full moon. And maybe some of you want to travel. The good thing is the travel is going to be fine. You don't have difficult aspects in those areas. You have Venus in the second house, okay? And this is squaring Pluto in the 11th. So it's more related to, if you're traveling with your friends, make sure to have good agreements about money, how you're spending money. If you're not traveling, but you're still meeting friends, just make sure that you have good agreements about money. And also, do not let your friends define your self-worth right now, because this is going to be triggered. Like, you're going to do something and maybe they're like, yeah, no, I don't think you should do that. Or putting their own fears onto you. Because sometimes people have their own experiences and they're actually trying to help you by saying, I tried this and I failed. And we've all done that sometimes because we have a certain experience with that. And doesn't mean everybody will fail, right? So make up your own mind what feels right for you. Do your research. We have a full moon in Sagittarius. Have your own experience. Do your own research, right? And failure is not that bad either, because you will learn from it. But imagine, maybe it doesn't feel for you at all. It's their experience. So this full moon is about gathering research, going and diving into a certain experience. Could be a trip, could be a study, could be anything that you want to experience in order to have more information. Maybe you're starting a new study, something that you want to study in order to share with other people. You have now Saturn and Neptune in your first house. So here you're going to be triggered to maybe choose who you want to be compared to who your family wants you to be. Because we do have Jupiter and Mercury in the fourth house. So healing the family will definitely be something major in the upcoming year. But it will start with embracing yourself. And maybe you might be surprised how people will accept you once you accept yourself. Okay? So listen carefully. How people will accept you once you accept yourself, because very often people are mirroring part of you. And, if they aren't accepting you, then, I mean, this is a difficult situation, but you have to embrace yourself. Like, life is too short. Okay? And you don't always have to express yourself fully when you're with people, but you have to accept yourself and find your community in other ways. This is also about buying and selling a house. This full moon is not the best time to sign a contract. Okay, you can do it a few days after, but it's not Mercury retrograde, but there is Saturn involved. So either get like a second opinion, so you make sure that you don't have any trouble there. Uranus is in the second house and Mars is in the fifth. So yeah, watch your money situations. Also with your partner or someone you're dating, there could be some money discussions, who's paying. Also with the kids, money and the kids, intuition. So I think so listen to your intuition, Aries, like you're being guided to trust your intuition. With Saturn in the 12th house, you've been working on your intuition. You have all the knowledge and gathered the experience to make the right decision here. Patience and planning. So if things don't work out right away, just know that with patience and planning, things will happen. And for some of you, it's a relationship, okay? Because I'm seeing number 7 on the card, which is the 7th house. Relationship will happen at the right time if you're single. And until that time, be the best version that you can be. Like, love yourself so much. Because if you love yourself so much, other people can do the same. Emotional loss and wisdom. So, your losses, your failures have brought together a lot of wisdom for you. And you're going to maybe share that. You're going to share that with the world. There are things that you're going to share with the world, but maybe you're still in a study. Give it time before the right timing comes for you to launch or to express that part of yourself. And you're going to be just fine. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Aries. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can see my email or contact me by email that you find in the description box below. So thank you so much. Let's move on to Taurus. So Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in the 8th house. And the 8th house has everything to do with your finances. But it's more so joint ventures, joint finances. This is money coming from insurance and taxes. Maybe you need to arrange some papers. You need to do some research on how to arrange those papers, how you can get everything done. So make sure you gather everything before you're going to arrange it, like you need to renew a passport or get like some kind of visa or things like that. How much does it cost? What do you need? And also, this is about gathering information on transformation. Gathering information on transformation. That sounds fun. So here you're going to do some research. Like some of you are also working with cards or with some kind of spiritual diving, human design, astrology, and these are going to give you more information on what you're ready to let go of, Taurus. You have Venus there in the first house, squaring Pluto in the 10th house. And for some of you, especially if you have a midheaven, for Taurus ascendant, if your midheaven is at 3 degrees or around 3 degrees, you're going to be highly impacted by this transit. And this is about you as a person fully embracing yourself, loving yourself in the job that you're doing. So maybe you need a certain change. So Pluto will give extreme changes in the workplace, in job, if you are not in the right job or you're not having the right how do you say that? The right business. Okay. And this will be stimulated by making work very difficult for you, dominating bosses. They're going to trigger you. So you're starting something else. in some cases, okay? So don't be afraid by change, especially when it comes to your career. And if people are dominant, bullying you, it has nothing to do with you sometimes, okay? Sometimes it does, but you're gonna have to get to know yourself about it. Um, if you feel you've done nothing wrong, stand in that power, put your head up high and walk away and find something else in some cases, right? This can also be you embracing your power and your talents and doing something with it. Finally, having the courage to do so. Okay. So Pluto is here to make you stronger. And, you know, if you have your sun sign Taurus, still you would have sun, moon at 3 degrees. If it's around 3 degrees, you have a square with Pluto. With the sun, it really means about you transforming your identity. And the moon is about transforming your emotions. So a lot of emotions could be coming up in that case. So Pluto is at the end of your fourth house, squaring Uranus. You know, it's very close to your second house, Uranus, right now. And here you are maybe changing your looks and embracing, you know, I've had enough. I'm going to get this tattoo, or I'm going to have this haircut. I want to have purple hair. You do you. Okay. If that suits you, this is what you feel like on the inside. Now you're going to do it. You're going to be like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to own it. I'm getting patience and planning. So if you're doing some research on finances, investments, like some of you want to do some kind of investment, we do have a square also with the North Node. So if some information is missing, you know, don't rush it until your intuition tells you where to go. Awareness. Working on your awareness, especially with Saturn and Neptune in Aries in the 12th house. Working on your awareness. Balance. Balance. Jupiter now is in your third house in Cancer and is conjunct Mercury. So some of you can really have this beautiful, powerful message. Like if you're online, you could definitely have a beautiful, insane message that will touch many souls, that maybe will make people talk about you. But you know what? People always talk. Doesn't matter. Positive movement forward. So you might be seeing some kind of big breakthrough. Okay. Could be in your career, maybe some process in papers, in your administration, or in some kind of investment. Do your research, and only when you're fully ready, then you can do that type of investment or start that business or start something new. Okay, so gather first all the information and remove the blocks that are preventing you from feeling not good enough. Okay, so that's my message for you, my lovely Taurus. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, thank you. Let's move on to Gemini. So, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. For you, we have this full moon at 20 degrees in your seventh house. And this is all related to relationships. This is related to business partnerships and how you relate to people one on one. So, if you have a job where you work with people one on one, this will also be activated. So, this full moon is in a trine with Mars. So, if you're in a relationship, maybe, or in a business partnership, maybe you want to talk about something, get something off your chest. Maybe you have a brilliant idea that you want to suggest, like, let's do this or let's do that. And yeah, see how your partner reacts. Something you can maybe do together, work together, travel together. Because your seventh house is in Sagittarius, which is all about exploration, which is about having experiences or attracting someone who loves to travel or who likes to, you know, experience life to the fullest in a way. And yeah, this is very known for teachers as well to have a strong Sagittarius. Um, then we have Pluto in the ninth house, squaring Venus in the 12th house. So Venus in the 12th house is really, if you're single, Gemini, it can trigger past life situations. And this could be related to third party situations. This could be related to someone maybe having a secret crush on you, and it can make you a bit confused. Like if you're single, okay, I'm not gonna judge, not gonna say anything. But if you're in a relationship, be very careful with this placement because it can be extremely attractive, but also extremely toxic. Because many relationships that are based on this extreme attraction, it's usually your body like giving signals that this person is gonna make you grow spiritually a lot by giving you a lot of pain. So yeah, be very careful about that. Also, for example, if you want to invest in like travel companies or doing some kind of money investment, I would not do this around this time. Um, so you could be meeting someone new, but be very careful what is presented. So wait until this placement is like gone. So wait a few weeks, I would say till end of June, and then see what you have there. Like who are you talking to? What is this person representing? Is this person really who you thought they were? Okay. Uranus is in Taurus in the 12th house. But if you are an early degree sun, moon, and rising, you're going to feel this Uranus already in your life, okay? And this Uranus is in a square with Mars. So your speech might be a bit rebellious, explosive for some of you, passionate, but you could have a massive breakthrough. Okay, it could be even an anger outburst that makes you go a different direction, which is going to be the perfect direction for you. Sometimes all we need is a bit of anger. Like, anger is not always bad. Anger can actually make you change things, right? Like, if something is unfair or hasn't been good for you, then maybe anger doesn't have to be such a bad thing. As long as you don't project it to other people, be angry, you know, by yourself. And if you are angry at other people, just, apologize. But this can really give you some good breakthroughs. Let's get you some cards. So, yeah, positive movement forward. And Jupiter now in your second house is amazing. Okay. In the upcoming year, you have definitely a lot of opportunities to make more money. You're going to feel like more worthy of it. So find the right balance. And after this full moon, you're going to, this everything that's no longer necessary needs to leave. That's why sometimes we have to feel uncomfortable to go to the next phase and to not let yourself be so easily swiped away or swooped off your feet in matter of finances or love, okay? Because if we're balanced, you have more perspective, okay? So that would be my message for you, my amazing Gemini. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Also, if you're interested in booking a reading with me, you find my email in the description box below. And until next time, so let's continue with Cancer. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your 6th house. And this has everything to do with your colleagues, your work, so your day-to-day work, and your health. Okay, so maybe you're doing some research on work, what work you would like to do, research on lifestyle, like what is the best lifestyle to have. Like, could you maybe add something to your diet, remove something from your diet? Like, what would be good for you to yeah, to adjust in your life. Do you need more rest? Do you need more running? All those kind of things. So you're gonna look into your day-to-day life, so to speak. Would you like to have a pet or an animal? Is that gonna work with your routines? So yeah, it's about doing research in those areas. And that's also because Jupiter now is in your first house. Okay, so especially Cancer who have an early sun, moon, or rising, they're gonna start to feel that now. And it's exalted here in your sign. So this is really a lovely, lovely, lovely time for expansion, and you're probably willing to speak up, but it's going to be difficult, especially in work situations. You have Jupiter conjunct Mercury. So you're really feeling what you say, but you're afraid to say it in the workplace because Saturn is in the 10th house and it's in a conjunction with Neptune. So maybe you want to be on social media, for example, but you're afraid to really say what you want to say. um, but don't underestimate the voice that you have. Okay. And yeah, Saturn there can sometimes give more responsibilities. It can give you also more authority. So you could actually get a better job because you also have Jupiter with you. So you have the enthusiasm to get stuff done. Then we have Venus in your 11th house and it's squaring Pluto in the 8th house. Very good thing right now is not to share too many secrets to friends or things that you're working on, finances, investments, and especially too good to be true investments. Be very, very careful with that, okay? Also, what you're exposing about yourself, because it's always good to speak truth, but some things are better kept private, right? Like people explicitly talking about their sex life is maybe not something everybody wants to know. So know where the boundaries are, you know what I'm saying. Um so yeah, there is just a new beginning starting for you, and it might be unsettling, but you're optimistic at the same time. So I feel like yeah, you've been doing a lot of inner work with Pluto there in the 8th house. And for some of you, you even have been going through maybe a court case, a divorce, okay? Because you want to have this soul relationship. And with Jupiter in the first house, people can definitely meet someone new, okay? Because it's a new start, a new beginning, or starting a new family. Financial and material changes. So, yeah, Mars is at the end of your second house, and it's in a square with Uranus in the 11th house. So, um, again, be careful. I don't know why, but your friends, you shouldn't talk too much about finances either. It's just around this month. And then you can say it because there might be some people who don't agree or want to get involved. And I feel this is something you need to do on your own. You need to solve on your own. Throat chakra, look at that. Speak to yourself on what it is that you need to do. You have Jupiter and Mercury in the first house. Suffering in silence. Yeah, I feel like, even though you have lovely friends, right? I cannot say that. But yeah, just know when it's the right time to say something, right? Because it's a tough month for some people. A lot of karma is coming up, and not everybody's ready for every kind of conversation. But it will be a lovely year for you, okay? Definitely a lot of changes can happen with Jupiter in the first house, and it's the lucky planet. But like I said, sometimes luck comes after you leave something behind that's no longer serving you. So Jupiter always catches you. It's your lucky planet, no matter what happens. So even if there's changes, know that you're going to be just okay. So that's my message for you, my amazing Cancer. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Okay. Now let's move on to Leo. Okay. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your fifth house. And this has everything to do with your children, your self expression, your inner child, right? Because when we heal the inner child, you also won't have to give your children your wounds of your inner child, right? And your children are also your teachers, right? So if you have Sagittarius on the fifth house cusp, you're going to have really wise children that are also going to be your teachers. So yeah, maybe you wanted to have some fun with them, go away, combine that with your friends. This is a time where, you don't, if you don't have children, can have a romantic time with your partner. Maybe you can do some workshop together for self-expression or something that, yeah, that helps you expand yourself. So even if you want to do some kind of workshop for expanding your creativity, this is a really beautiful time to do that. But at the same time, there might be some hesitations like, can I do this? Am I good enough to do it? Venus is in your 10th house. So this is about your visibility, and it's squaring Pluto in the 7th house. So maybe you're feeling like, I want to learn this, I want to study it, but I feel that maybe, I'm not good enough to do that. So you could be having some doubts. Also, in business partnerships or relationships, there could be some fears coming up or doubts that you have about your partner, about your work, and how your partner responds to it. Maybe you want to do something else and you're afraid how they would react if you would just change your job or doing something that is more related to your passion. Um, yeah, it could also, if you're single, some old pains might be coming up that you're ready to resolve. Because sometimes when we have suffered enough, you can finally say, no more. I'm not going to fall for the same thing. So, and there is no timeline on how many mistakes you can make, right? Like some people need more time to learn, and others learn by less times. But you need to know in your soul when it's enough. Jupiter now is in a more introvert um, house. So you've had it in the 10th house, you've had it in the 11th house, and it just went into the sign of Cancer in your 12th house. So now it's time to also rest a little bit, Leo. You've been working so hard, had a very social life, but also make sure that you rest this year and have a great meditation plan. Okay? Let's get you a card. Light. Look at that. It's time to embrace your light. And how can you let the light come to you? By resting, going with the flow. Sometimes when we chase something so much, there's no space for the light to come in, right? It's like if your cup is full, you cannot pour more water. So you need to make sure that you empty it by organizing your inner world. Mars is in your first house, so you also feel energetic at the same time. But Mars is ready to go into the sign of Virgo after mid-June. But this Mars in your sign is going to be in a square with Uranus. And Uranus is in your 10th house, so be careful by being so passionate that you're kind of rebellious at work. And that might rub people the wrong way, or you might feel a bit triggered at work, or people feel triggered by you. This placement. At the same time, if you use it the right way, you can get a lot of stuff done. Okay. Because actually, people with a lot of squares in their chart And I actually wanted to tell that at the beginning. But people with a lot of squares in their chart, they have really strong personalities because you know how sometimes things are tough. Okay. I have people with easy charts that they kind of feel stuck most of the time because they want things to be easy. But if you have a squares, you know that life is not only easy and you have to pursue and persist and get stuff done, right? Fertility and solar plexus chakra. So, I mean, with the full moon in the fifth house, if you want to have a baby, that could definitely be a possibility around this full moon. And I'm also getting solar plexus chakra. So, it's time to stand in your power. And by standing in your own truth, you will definitely survive this full moon, okay? Which is a bit tricky, but at the same time, a lot of growth is coming for you. And through peace, you can gather your thoughts and you can go in this massive, expansive growth where manifestation becomes a lot easier because there's more space for it to come. So that's my message for you, my amazing Leo. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thank you so much. Let's move on to Virgo. So Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your fourth house. And the fourth house is related to your family, your home situation, your house. And this is a beautiful time to maybe gather some information on where you would like to live. So if some of you would like to move, it's time to where would I want to go? Some of you would like to do some astrocartography, maybe read blogs, check out videos from people and see where they live, what type of work they do. You're going to be inspired during this full moon. You just want to know, like, what next steps could you take? You could be looking or reading into decoration. How can I decorate my place? How can I make it look nice? You could inform your family. Like, what do you think I could do for work also? Like, what would be the next steps to take? So you're going to do a lot of research. If you want to do some kind of plan, a marketing plan, or launch something, maybe you need to, yeah, gather all the information before you can expose it or launch it to the world. Jupiter now is in your 11th house. So your connections, your friends, your networking is really important because through networking, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. Okay. This is the house of luck, they call it sometimes. So here you can attract people that are there to help you. You could be organizing workshops and finding friends that are going to feel like family to you. Okay. Mars is very close to your sign. So if you're an early degree Virgo, you're going to feel it a bit more. Otherwise, this is a time where even though you're very busy working, doing, reading, it's also a time to take a break sometimes, at least up until around the 15th of June. Okay. Venus is in your ninth house, squaring Pluto in the sixth. It could be that some of you are reading into holistic approaches or even studying it. Health is becoming very prominent for a lot of Virgos. Maybe you need to change something in your diet, in your lifestyle. Could be coming up like you're having some kind of intolerances or something that you didn't think you had, but Pluto is pointing that out. You could be traveling somewhere to heal that or doing some kind of workshop. But it's definitely time to step up your diet plan. Okay. Deception and envy. Okay. We have Pluto there in the sixth house as well. So if you're traveling and your colleagues are maybe a little bit jealous of that, or you're dealing with envy and deception in the workplace, which could be happening around this full moon, stand in your own truth. That's always what I say. Don't respond, don't react, don't give them the pleasure of putting you down. Um, it's their feelings, how they are feeling about you, and it's saying something about them, not about you, right? And this is something I had to tell myself as well. I'm getting third eye chakra and solar plexus. So some of you are working on the chakras, or you're doing some kind of healing maybe, or working on a special healing system, because you have Saturn and Neptune in the eighth house. So a lot of you are determined to break some certain cycles. Not a great time to do investments, especially for Virgo risings, or yeah, doing something a bit, well, Virgo is not very impulsive, are you? But doing nothing impulsive with money, some kind, yeah, investments, or investing big chunks of money into crypto, things like that. Be careful with that. And then I have destiny. So it's like Jupiter in your 11th house will bring you to the right places, to the right people. So it's going to be a lot at the right time, at the right place, at the right time. So the right place is going to come for you if some of you want to move, okay? You could even be moving into like a community place, living with other people. So yeah, keep looking, and know that family is not just related to only the bloodline, but it's also can be, we are all connected to each other. And yeah, find the people that you resonate with or not resonate with, depends on what you want to learn, right? So that would be my message for you, my amazing. Oh, before we go, I almost forgot. Mars is in the 12th house squaring Uranus, and Uranus is very close to your midheaven for some of you. So yeah, there could be some changes in work, certain outcome, but like I said, maybe some gossip. So just be careful with that. I mean, people do that anyways, I always say. So anyways, that's my message for you. And until next time, let's move on to Libra. So Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your third house. And this is all related to um, traveling, and also traveling with the mind, through studying, through learning. So some of you want to study, read books, go on a trip. Jupiter now on the 10th of June went in your 10th house. Time for your career to take off, Libra. This is going to be your time, especially Libra rising. This is your time to shine. And it's a little bit tricky because Jupiter has a square with Saturn. So in some cases, you're shining and you're doing really well. And it might be triggering something within your partner, because Saturn is in the seventh house. Or if you're in a relationship, maybe your partner is going to restrict you a little bit into expanding yourself, feeling that you're outgrowing them a little bit. But, this is your year, and your partner will also have their year, because everyone is going to have Jupiter at some time in their 10th house, right? So there might be some things coming up with partnerships, and it needs to go through a massive growth, okay? Because Saturn is with Neptune. So it's kind of requiring you to have a deeper, committed spiritual relationship that is based um, on truth, on spiritual truth, and also on authenticity. So everything that's not that will be taken away by Saturn, because Saturn is serious. Um, yeah, so career's gotta be good. Some of you are traveling. Venus is there in the eighth house, and it's squaring Pluto in the fifth. So again, with romance, just be very careful who you meet. If you're single, what are you representing? Because this placement can, around this full moon, can trigger people who are too good to be true, investments that are too good to be true, people who say they're single and they're not single. Okay, so listen to your intuition, Libra. Uranus is in the eighth house, squaring Mars in the 11th. So, yeah, investments for friends, um, sharing certain details about your life, maybe wait until after this full moon. Okay. Let me get you a card. Fertility. So for some of you, you want to have a child, want to expand the family. Fertility is also about a new business. Okay. So a new baby, like your business is going to be your baby. Okay. So take that however that resonates with you. And the funny thing is, the number on the card is 3, which is where your full moon is going to be. So do research about your business and how you can expand it. Movement, choices, and decisions. So Libra, you have a lot of decisions to make. I'm not gonna lie. You have a lot of decisions to make. And I'm hearing tick tock, tick tock. Like you're feeling that you need to rush decisions. But know that, and this is very important, when you're still confused and there's no answer coming to you, the answer is for now, not there yet. So don't force something when the answer is not there yet. You need full clarity before you can decide something. Because I'm getting conflict and defeat. If you're going to decide too soon without being 100% sure, sometimes you regret it. But very often you're already on the right path because you kind of know, your inner knowing knows in a way. So that's my message for you, my amazing Libras. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to book a reading with me, or you would like to, subscribe to my channel. Yeah, if you would like to, I'm losing all my words. Anyways, this promotion is not going great. Um, Thank you, Libra. I hope to see you next time. Let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. We have this full moon in the sign of Sagittarius in your second house. And second house is related to your finances, your money. And here it's all about, are you sharing your full wisdom, and are you getting paid the amount that you deserve for that wisdom? So some of you might get a raise, and that might make people, it could be a bit triggered by that. So maybe in the workplace, Saturn is in the 6th house now, Mars is in the 10th, squaring Uranus in the 7th. So yeah, there could be something with money coming up, and either a business partner could be a bit triggered with that, or there might be some words, or people in the workplace are going to be like, okay, so how much are you earning through this? So now it's time to, or even if you're looking at prices to rate for your services or your business, now it's time to do some research to know, like, okay, how much am I gonna value myself? How much can I ask when I'm in a job? So you're doing research there. Jupiter is in your 9th house. This is a lovely placement. Like Jupiter is in its own house here, exalted in Cancer. Plus, you're a water sign, so it makes a beautiful trine. And especially if you're an early degree, Sun, Moon, and Rising Scorpio, you're going to have the support of Jupiter, giving you a boost and confidence in the things that you want to do. Okay. Venus is in a square with Pluto. So there might be a bit of a trigger with your family and your partner, with your home situation. We have Pluto there in the 4th house. This is also your home situation, the landlord, and your partner. Okay. This could also be you feeling unstable around this full moon, around your relationship. And some of you are like, but I'm single. This placement is going to either send someone in your life to mirror what you still need to heal within yourself, which ultimately has to do with self-love. So be very careful who you meet around this full moon, because that might be someone that is too good to be true. How much are you willing to give up to have love? And the ultimate answer is to love yourself and by loving yourself, you can attract someone who love you also. And it's strange, right? That we think that by being just us, that we don't resonate with everyone. But the moment I decided that it's okay to be me, um, yeah, I met a partner that loves all those things about me, that loves my spiritual side, you know, and is very much into the spiritual journey as well. So it makes so much easier to be together and to go through this process of growing. So self-development is really a theme around our relationship, which is what bonding us. So you know, if you're not accepting yourself, you're going to have a lot of mismatches or people that may be interested in. You can have differences as long as you can learn from each other. But it is very easy to have someone at least accepting all of you. Okay. So these triggers might be coming up. Some difficulty in family. Okay. Secrets being exposed. Some will have some secrets exposed. But yeah, Jupiter in the ninth house, a lot of Scorps. You're gonna travel. You wanna live abroad. This is a really beautiful time to do that. Digital nomading, the crown chakra. So if you've had low energy lately, and I'm referring to the seventh house, so and you have these planets in the seventh house triggering you, like what is removing the energy going to you? Are you giving too much away to other people? Seventh house is not just partnerships. This is also one-on-one. So if you're working with clients one-on-one and you're giving too much and you're working with a lot of clients a day, if you're doing sessions, for example, or you're in a shop or something and you're trying too hard, giving too much, there's nothing left for you, right? Solitude. And then you need to be alone to recharge. So be very much aware on how much you give away of your energy and to who to give it to. Okay? Because you want to be alone, but you have quite outgoing planets in the upcoming time. So you probably want to be out and about at the same time. Fulfillment of wishes. Okay? So the moment you decide that you're enough, a lot of wishes are going to come your way. So that's all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to book a reading with me or look into my coaching program, look at my website, or you can send me an email that you find in the description below. Thank you so much, Scorpio. I so appreciate you. And until next time, let's move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun and Rising. So obviously this full moon is going to be in your sign. Especially you're going to be feeling this full moon if you have Sun and Rising at 20 degrees in your chart, or around 20 degrees. And this will highlight your partnerships, okay? And there is an opportunity for single Sagittarius to meet someone new. I do have to say, however, we have Venus square Pluto. They're not necessarily in your relationship houses. It's more related to work, but still, if you meet someone new, wait until the end of June to really see, like, who do I have here? So you can meet each other, but just to make sure that you don't get a Venus square Pluto person, which is more about lessons, okay? Yeah, so this is about partnerships. Like, some of you want to do something fun with your partner. This could be a new creation of business partnership, but you have to make very sure you're on the same line, okay? Because there are very tricky planets as well. Uranus is in the sixth house, squaring Mars in the ninth. And for some of you, it will even be close to your midheaven. So colleagues is difficult around this time for you, Sagittarius. Like maybe some discussions with colleagues. Yeah, it might be a bit tricky or triggering right now. So if you really feel like you can't handle what's going on in the office, you can also work from home if that's a possibility for you. Saturn and Neptune are now in your fifth house, and they're squaring Jupiter in the eighth house. Okay. So you are kind of taking your creative expression serious in some cases because Neptune is kind of pushing you to stabilize this skill that you have. So it can sometimes block you, but by blocking you, restricting you from getting it done really fluent or in one go, this means that you're becoming better, but because through hardship, often you get more knowledge. Okay, so see it as something really positive. So even if you want to get pregnant, it will take a bit longer with Saturn in the fifth house. Okay, dating might be feeling kind of weird, like you prefer to just randomly meet someone. Jupiter in the eighth house. It's a beautiful placement because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer and it's in the eighth house. So you might be seeing some support through other sources. Like this could be through partnership, like your partner supporting you, support from the government, inheritance, um, financial support from family. So there's definitely finances coming in. Okay, all the cards are flying around. Harmony. So you are creating more harmony. And look at the nodes, right? Because you have the full moon in Sagittarius opposing the sun in the seventh house, and it's squaring the nodes. The south node is in your 10th house. So you are going to create more inner harmony, inner balance with the north node in Pisces, okay? It's more important for you to feel inner harmony. Looking at your shadow sides, okay? So shadow sides might be coming up. Also, really important to check your health. This could be your own health. This could be health of siblings. There might be some difficulty with the health of your siblings as well. Now is the time to see like what can you change in your lifestyle to feel better, to feel healthier. Um, how can I communicate better? Is also a big lesson now. How can even though people react a certain way to you, how do you respond to that? What is your reaction? And I'm getting the waiting game. So it could be that you are waiting for some kind of reply or for some kind of change. And this waiting game is checking how committed you are. So how committed are you? Because the full moon is in the first house. This is commitment to yourself. And you're a very adventurous sign, like going with the flow. And when things are going a bit slower, it's probably gonna frustrate you. Like fire signs don't want to be restricted, right? But this restriction is gonna help you become even a better version of yourself. So keep adventuring, informing yourself, polish your skills and your skill set, find inner harmony, and things will come to you at the right time. Okay. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Sagittarius. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to book a reading with me, you find my email in the description box below. And until next time, thank you so much. Let's move on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your 12th house. And this is a time for you to have experiences and expansion, which is where Sagittarius stands for, in your own inner world through meditation. You can get a lot of wisdom through meditation by spending time by yourself. This is your inner fire, right? This is what your optimism, and your optimism is going to be only visible to you when you are meditating. You can feel so much better or doing some kind of martial arts. Um, a lot of you like to travel as well by yourself. That's going to give you a lot of indications and answers as well. Okay. You have Jupiter now moving into your seventh house, and this is going to be there for the upcoming year in the sign of Cancer. It's exalted here. So, for my lovely Capricorns who are single, this is a beautiful year to meet someone, okay? Be ready, get out and about. I always say, like, astrology can indicate when you meet someone, but you need to be ready to see the right person for you and to see the gift that is out there for you. Okay. To be willing to, yeah, to accept it. Like sometimes someone comes in and they could be the right partner for you, but you haven't done the self love yet. And then you can't recognize love for what it is. And it seems that that person is just really boring, right? Because toxic is so much more fun. But yeah, you have also beautiful opportunities to get married. I wouldn't say this month because we have a square with Saturn, and Saturn is in the fourth house. So you would get married, and maybe not all your family members can make it. Saturn in the fourth house is also bringing in difficult situations. Maybe you have to take care of family members. Um, you're also working on this process where you are going to work on your authenticity. Like, how can you be yourself when you are with your family? And it could create a bit of difficult situations where it's not really clear what's truly happening. And the same with the house or houses, okay? Some of you might even experience leaks. So, washing machine breaking or dishwashing machine leaking water. Um, yeah, water leaks are very common with this placement. So, yeah, even if you're moving, it could be a longer process because Saturn will make it a longer process, okay? It's a beautiful time to, around this full moon, to spend it by yourself, to look at your health, material and spiritual prosperity. Okay, so Pluto is now in the second house, and Pluto is squaring Venus in the fifth. Not a good time to gamble. Okay, so if you want to gamble around this day, it's not a good day. But if you do win, there's going to be things attached to it with this placement. Uranus is also in your fifth house in a square with Mars in the eighth house. Okay, so sudden, yeah, I don't want to say that, but yeah, a sudden passing sometimes. And also, this could be sudden breakthroughs, even like when it comes to your inner child. Like maybe you have prevented yourself from fully expressing yourself in your full rebellious state, and you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to express this talent or this side of me that you haven't shown to the world. So your inner rebel is kind of coming out. It could be that your children are going to be a bit rebellious, asking to lend money from you. Yeah, destiny. So a lot of you are working towards a new destiny. And even funnier, sometimes people look for a destiny, but you're already there. Like life is a lifelong process, and always looking for something and never being able to find it is maybe because it's already there. Because what are you looking for really, right? Ultimately, everything that we want in the external world is within ourselves. And we are able to resolve within ourselves. And even if people in the external world are hurting us or are bad to us, it's sometimes also a test on how you respond to it, how you handle that situation. And it's up to you if you accept it. Because ultimately, if you let people treat you in a bad way, you are still allowing it, right? And this is what I've been through in my experience where I allowed people to control me or to, um, yeah, and I was blaming them. They did that to me, but it's not true. I did that to myself because I was not having strong enough boundaries to see what I allow people to do to me. Emotional withdrawal. So you see, we have this card, and that's true for this full moon in Sagittarius. Sometimes all it takes is a bit of introspection. And Sagittarius is about experiences, knowledge. So you're going to go back in time and see, like, what could I have done different? And if that happens again, what can I do now in order to change the outcome? Because you have that in hand, how to deal with that. Okay. So that's my message for you, my amazing Capricorn. Thank you so much for being here. If you'd like to book a reading with me, you find my email in the description box below. And until next time. So let's move on to Aquarius. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. So for you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your 11th house. And the 11th house is all related to your community. This is the people that you network with, that you surround yourself with. This could be workshops, right? Sagittarius loves to learn. So you need either very adventurous friends or friends that you can learn with, travel with. Um, yeah. And it's opposing Gemini in the 5th house. So if you want to do some kind of workshop, it's really good time to do that. Working on something creative that you want to share with the world. It's just that this is such a vulnerable full moon because Pluto is, well, it's in your sign in the 1st house. And all early degrees, so between 0 and 5 degree, sun, moon, and rising is definitely going to feel this Pluto placement that is really bringing massive transformation. And it's squaring Venus in the 4th house in the sign of Taurus. So you're maybe looking back at family dynamics and how family dynamics impact your identity today. So often we are attracted to people that represent one of our parents, both of our parents, and you're not doomed. First of all, that's not something you're doomed with, because when you change the pattern within, the person you attract on the outside is going to be different, right? It's just because everything is vibration. So you're born with a certain blueprint. We can look into your astrology to see your blueprint, but you're not doomed with that chart, okay? You can still work on yourself. And yeah, I wouldn't say you cannot change all situations because some are necessary for our evolution, but you can change the way you deal with them. But you can certainly change with who you want to hang out with or who you want to be in a relationship with. Because Uranus is also in the 4th house and it's squaring Mars in the 7th. So this is a bit of a triggering information relationship. So yeah, this information could come, by the way, from your friends that are gonna have a talk with you because the moon is in your 11th house, trining Mars in the 7th, and Mars is squaring Uranus in the 4th. So either your family is going to trigger the situation with your partner, or your partner is going to trigger the situation with your family. Okay, but there are so many things happening in your world right now, and I don't want you to give up. I want you to know that this time you have the chance to clean up from the inside out. And Pluto is going to make you bring awareness. So it's going to highlight what is happening. Like, usually you don't get lessons too much after each other, but Pluto's going to slap them in your face until you get them. And when you change them, they will not happen again. Okay. I was born with Pluto on the ascendant, so I know it's not easy, but it builds character, and you have this massive opportunity to break karmic cycles. Okay. Jupiter is now in your 6th house. So beautiful placement for changing careers. You could be getting along with your colleagues well, having a good talk with them. Um, although this full moon is in a square with Saturn, so maybe you're feeling a bit more hesitant, like you have a lot of great ideas that you want to share at work, but it could be that you're holding yourself a bit back from sharing that because you want to say it right and you want to do it right. So there's a bit of perfectionism there. And maybe sometimes you feel like, this is a bit out of this world or too weird. But when this square with Saturn is passing, you're definitely going to bring the ideas forward. So, yeah, take some time to think about them so you present them in the right way. Partnerships and alliances, okay? So, there will be some lessons there about partnerships and who you trust. Yeah. I'm hearing share your story with the right people. Yeah. Recognition and reward. Don't think nobody knows that what you're doing, that it's not noticed. The divine, the universe, they always know. They can see your effort. So even though if you think nobody sees it, nobody knows it, loneliness is coming from a disconnect with the divine. Because when you're alone and you're connected, and then sometimes I hear people say, you don't know what it's like to be alone. Yes, I do. I spent many years alone. So, not feeling alone. There are moments of feeling alone, which is normal. This is the human experience, right? Where it's normal we feel alone or not supported sometimes. But by connecting, you're going to feel so much less alone. And there's so many things to explore in this world. And this is the energy of Sagittarius, this curiosity, like, I want to know this world. I want to learn. I want to experience. That's your destiny. Knowing, learning, growing, experiencing, right? Sometimes we want it to be one thing. What if it's many things? What if it's the day-to-day life? Jupiter is in the 6th house. What is you have to be happy with your day-to-day life, your routines, and making that your passion and your love and all those things. So, yeah, that's my message for you, my amazing Aquarius. I hope you have an amazing day, lots of growth. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you find my email in the description box below. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we have this full moon in Sagittarius in your 10th house. And this is highlighting everything related to your career. So some of you want to bring more exposure to your work. You just feel like you want to, maybe you're doing like leading some kind of meeting or workshop, or you're teaching something that day. And yeah, it's like it could be that your family is supporting you, or you just feel really grounded to to speak about that. Jupiter is in your 5th house. This is a wonderful placement for you, Pisces, because it's in a fellow water sign. And especially if you're an early degree, someone are rising, so between 0 and 5 degrees, you're going to be now around this full moon highly supported. So you're going to feel more optimism, showing your self-expression. Okay, we do still have Jupiter in a square with Saturn, so it could be that you feel secure about your talents and about what you're doing, but you're not really ready to validate yourself money-wise or feeling like it's good enough. Like you kind of might be feeling that you need to do more to achieve more. But yeah, that's not the case. Saturn in the 2nd house can restrict money. It really is asking you, how dedicated are you to earn money with this certain thing that you're doing? And you can always do something on the side to make extra money with. Okay, if you want to get pregnant or you're expecting a baby this year, it's a beautiful year for that. Venus is in the third house. So around this full moon, be careful for miscommunications. There might be some projections being done onto you, and you're like, you know what? And you want to defend yourself. Um, let it be for what it is. Like, trust that the real situation will be revealed in the end. Okay. So many times in my life that I reacted to something that I know I didn't do or that was unfair. And it's always best to walk away. And when I was younger, that was hard. Like, I was like, I'm going to react. I need to stand up for myself. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you let time pass by. And with time, people will see the real situation. Or you'll be removed from it, and who cares? You're going to be in your new cycle. So Mars is going to be in the sixth house, squaring Saturn in the third. So again, tricky with colleagues, especially. Your health. Be very careful with your health. You could suffer from a bit of anxiety. So do your meditation and value yourself. Okay. So no matter what your colleagues are saying or, you know, your health, needing to do things with your health, but you're like, I don't know if I want to do this diet or this thing. Spend some time in meditation, or in your case, actually with Jupiter in the fifth house, it would be good to do some creative things. You're going to be more in the flow, more in alignment, patience and planning. So some of you are working on your own business. So give it time, patience, and planning before you're going to launch it. Don't go too quick. Don't tell your colleagues about it until you're leaving. Movement, choices, and decisions. So a lot of you Pisces are standing for some decisions that you need to make. If you're pregnant, for example, you also have to see how long are you going to work? When are you going to tell people? When are you going to expose that? Accelerated motion. So things are going to flow very, very quickly for you. Busy life, I'm hearing a lot of things to do. So if things go a bit slower, be okay with it. Let it be, right? Because the waiting game I'm getting, because when things go fast, they go really fast. So first you need to align yourself, rest. Do your research when it comes to work. So if you want to have a certain job, because Sagittarius is about experiences, and Gemini, it's Gemini season, it's about doing research. So go home, do your research. Prosperity begins. So the prosperity can happen once you're fully prepared. And when the time is right, you're ready to take off. Okay. So that would be my message for you, my amazing Pisces. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you. If you would like to book a reading with me, you find my email in the description box below. And thank you for being here. And until next time, bye bye.